Okay. Hey guys, this is Miss Ginger again. This morning I told you that I was going to make a short video explaining some of the things that you'll need for your worksheet pages. Some of it we did last week, but you will need all of these things for your worksheets. Jackson, what are you doing?
Open a hole in this.
Stop.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, let's see if I can get you to share. There we go. Last time I tried it wasn't sharing. So we did this one last week, but I want to go over it again because these are some of the things that you will see again this week, okay, and throughout the rest of this unit, and next time as well. So figurative language, remember, is poetic or creative language used in writing. It plays with the senses, smell, touch, sound, and sight. And it's usually symbolic, okay? One of them is simile. Remember, simile equals similar. So if it uses words like or as to describe something, then it's a simile. As dead as a doornail, like a fish out of water. Okay, we know what those things means. It's comparing it to something, and it's using the words like or as. Okay, a metaphor, on the other hand, says something is something else. So it doesn't use the word like or as, it uses the form of the verb be. The truck is a monster with beady eyes. Her hair is silk. Joe was an icicle. He's saying that you are these things. That's the difference between metaphor and simile. This is a metaphor. Personification. The root word here is person. Person meaning a human. So personification is anything that takes human characteristics and gives it to non-human things. The wind whistled as it blew past the trees. Wind doesn't actually whistle. It doesn't have a mouth, but it makes that sound, and we give it a human characteristic to the non-human thing. Okay. Swollen river raced forward and tackled everything. Rivers don't race and tackle, but we know exactly what they mean when we say that. This is personification. Hyperbole, we talked about this morning. I'm going kind of fast, but you might want to go back and write down some of these when you get a chance, because you're going to use these for, or at least if you don't know them, write down the ones you don't know, because you're going to use them for the next couple of weeks, actually. Okay. Hyperbole is exaggeration, and it's usually humorous. My backpack weighed a ton. Well, it didn't weigh a ton. It weighed, because a ton is 2,000 pounds, and you couldn't carry that on your back. But it's an exaggeration. We know that it means your backpack was heavy. I'm so hungry I could eat a cow. Well, you might eat part of a cow, a steak or a hamburger, but you're not going to sit down and eat the whole cow. It's exaggerating how hungry you are. That's a hyperbole. An idiom is a phrase people use in everyday language which doesn't make sense literally, but we know what they mean. Okay, going bananas. You're driving me up the wall. Eyes in the back of your head. You know what those things, right? Going bananas, you're going crazy. You're driving me up a wall. I'm about done playing with you. If your mama says that, you better back off, right? Eyes in the back of your head. I don't actually have eyes in the back of my head, but I can see, have a sense that I know what's going on behind me. Okay, so that is an idiom. Onomatopoeia. This is the use of words to describe or imitate a natural sound. The click, clack, clack of the typewriter. Crash, boom, the boom, boom, boom of the thunder. Okay, anytime you use words like that to describe sounds that something is making, that's an onomatopoeia. Oxymoron is a figure of speech that combines two contradictory terms. This is similar to irony. Oxymorons are act naturally. If you're acting, then you're not natural. So they contradict each other. Okay, pretty ugly, awfully pretty. Alliteration, that's the repeating of sounds. You see that a lot in poems. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. That's alliteration. It uses the P's and the S's, using the same sound over and over again. A pun, using words that have more than one meaning. to make humor. Sir Lancelot once had a very bad dream about his horse. It was a nightmare. Night meaning you got those, right? Funny puns. Okay. Cliche. That little E, Jackson's here with me, that little thing right there. That makes it say cliche. A cliche is a phrase that becomes overly familiar or commonplace. Low key, high key. Those are sorry, it's an inside joke. Jaden will get it. That's a cliche. Live and learn. What comes around goes around. If ifs and buts are candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I don't think I've ever heard that one. That's funny.
Some butts for some candy.
I don't know. Allusion. This one was in your one of your vocabulary words to begin with. Allusion is when you make a reference to something from history, literature, or a current event. So you're reading and you say you refer to something that is not a part of the story, but you assume that the reader knows what it means. Maybe refers to history. Sally had a smile that rivaled that of the Mona Lisa. We know what the Mona Lisa is, right? It's a painting. And she's saying that Sally's smile was comparative to the Mona Lisa smile. But this is allusion because you are alluding back to something else that's not really in the story. Okay, that is some of the fictional. There is more, and we will probably do some more. Didn't mean to do full screen here. We'll do some more figurative language as we go on throughout the week. Okay, so next we're going to go to, give me 1 second. I think I have to stop sharing my screen for a second and minimize this. And then I should be able to share my screen again with irony. Okay, another way that writers present things is through irony. Okay. Irony occurs when an outcome is contrary or opposite to what was or might have been expected. Okay, so I'm going to go through some, and then we have some different other types of irony as well, but these are just some funnies that explain to you, maybe can help you stick in your brain what irony is. Okay, so the what's ironic about this is that they spelled school wrong. School is SCHOOL, and so obviously the school should know how to spell school. Okay, Weight Watchers, that's a diet club, people trying to lose weight, but it's right next door. See, the Weight Watchers sign is right here and way up here, but it's right next to Baskin Robbins, which defeats the purpose of trying to do Weight Watchers, right? This is an ashtray of a heart. I mean, of a lungs. That's a lung. What does smoking does? Smoking hurts your lungs. Ironic. Okay. 24-hour fitness, yet they have an escalator going up the stairs. If you're going into 24-hour fitness, you are going to exercise. You shouldn't need an escalator to go up the stairs. Stop chew for dogs, yet the dog has chewed it up. Netflix. Some of you may not get this, but years ago, Netflix was not a streaming company. There was no such thing as streaming. You actually you went online and you picked out what DVDs you wanted to watch, and they mailed them to you, and you watched them, and then you sent them back. And the name of the movie here is Unbreakable, yet the CD is broken. So that's the irony. You're the best teacher ever. Give you a second. Think about that. What is ironic about that? In case you didn't catch it, your, spelled Y-O-U-R, means you own something. It should be you are the best teacher ever, Y-O-U''R-E. So she's obviously not the best teacher if she didn't She didn't teach them difference. School too easy for kids. And obviously too hard for this news writer who used the form TWO instead of TO for the word to. That's irony. Nothing is written in stone, except the phrase, nothing is written in stone. That's irony. Texting while driving kills. The more driving tips, text, safety. It's telling you not to text and drive on a billboard, but it tells you to learn more by texting while you're driving. Ironic. The fire truck being on fire. That's irony. TV psychic medium Joe Powers canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. He's not a very good psychic. Irony. Hidden beach. Pointing into the woods. That's ironic. Childhood obesity, don't take it lightly. Obesity wouldn't be light, it'd be fat. And then underneath there, you've got the McDonald's. My kind of shopping spree. Let's teach our kids to not be obese, but let's send them to McDonald's. Ironic. 5-hour energy sip. It looks like the people sitting inside are sleeping. Do it right the first time. Plan ahead. But they didn't plan ahead to write the sign because they didn't fit all the letters on the same page, on the same line. Don't make me beg, but he is begging with the cup. Please do not tape anything to the glass, but the sign is taped to the glass. All of these are examples of irony. You're probably tired of listening to me talk. Oh, stop tweeting. Follow us on Twitter. Phone out of service, give us a call. How are you supposed to do that if your phone doesn't work? Okay, that's just the end of that. All right, stop share. So that is irony. You also had some other forms of irony that you had to talk about. Let's open those for a second. There's 3 different kinds. There's verbal, situational, and dramatic. Most of those that we saw on the pictures were situational ironies. When the outcome of a situation is inconsistent with what we expect would logically happen. If the result is the opposite, if the reverse is what we would expect, the thief's house was broken into at the same time that he was robbing somebody else's house. Those are situational irony. What were you expecting to happen and what did happen? That's how you determine those. Okay, but there's also verbal and dramatic irony. Verbal irony is when a speaker or a writer says one thing but actually means the opposite. For example, when your mom walks into your filthy bedroom and says, I see you've cleaned your room. Sarcasm. I love sarcasm. Sarcasm is a type of verbal irony. Okay, to find verbal irony, ask yourself, what is really being said? If what the person actually means is not exactly what the person really means, then that's verbal irony. Okay, sarcasm, verbal irony. Dramatic irony is when the audience of the reader is aware of something that a character does not know. For example, when Romeo believes Juliet is dead, but the audience know that she's only been given a potion to go to sleep. And if you haven't read Romeo and Juliet and don't know, he thinks she's dead. He kills himself. She's not dead. She kills herself. Big old thing. This is dramatic irony. What did you already know happened or what was going to happen? And then what did the character know or not know? So that's dramatic irony. Okay, those are the different examples. And this is the rest of the worksheet that you had to finish for reading. And you pick out the type of irony, meaning is it verbal, situational, or dramatic? Do this. We're going to go over this page on Thursday. Okay? All right, let me stop sharing that page. One more thing I want to share with you. This one is inferencing. Okay, there is a video for you to watch. I think I have it down for you to watch on Thursday, but you can do it anytime. And it's a video about a little Thai girl. You have to read the subtitles because it's in a different language. But there are questions. You don't have to answer the questions when you watch that video, but there are questions for you to think about. And that kind of helps you understand what you do, what the process is for understanding inferencing. How do you make an inference? Okay. What is an inference? An inference is when you make an educated guess. You learn things. The readers, they write different things, and sometimes they don't tell you all the details, but you figure out the details by reading in between the lines, by knowing what's happened before and what's going to happen, and you answer questions that weren't, you may have questions to answer that the author didn't say this certain thing, but you know it because you know different things. You've sort of read in between the lines and you figured it out based on the information that they've given you. I'm going to share my screen one more time. I don't think it's that one though. One second. Okay, that's not it. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. Escape. Okay, here we go. Now I can share the screen with you. You've all seen the Garfield comics, right? I don't know. Comics used to be a big thing. When I was a kid, we didn't have cartoons 24/7. Like, you had to wait till Saturday morning to get up and watch cartoons. So, also on Saturdays, the newspaper printed cartoons. I don't know if they still do or not. I hadn't gotten a newspaper in so long. Or Sunday, I'm sorry. On Sunday newspaper, you could get the Sunday comics. And Garfield was a popular one. I'm going to see waiting room. I'm going to let her in just a few minutes because I'm not ready yet. Okay. So our Garfield is, arg, I'm being chased by a snake in a fur coat. Something wrong with your tail? Tail? I knew that. So the inference here is, what is he being chased by? He's being chased by his tail. It didn't tell you that, but you figure it out because you look at the pictures, you look at the words, and you can figure out what he's saying. This is inferencing. Okay. Another example. If I can get it to go to the next one. Hang on. Whoop. There we go. My new fish is very exotic. When threatened, it expands to 50 times its size. You don't say. Okay. It didn't tell you what has happened in this picture, but by looking at the picture and reading the words, you know Garfield obviously ate the fish and the fish expand. We know from knowing just things about these type of fish, this is probably a puffer fish. If you don't know much about puffer fish, maybe you learned it by watching SpongeBob, his driver's ed instructor, Mrs. Puff, right? She's a puffer fish. So obviously here Garfield ate it and he got puffed. It didn't tell you what happened. You figure that out. What does exotic mean? It doesn't have to explain what exotic means, but you know that it's not a normal fish, not one that you would just get. It's not a goldfish, obviously, right? Okay, I'm almost done. I'm going to let these people in just a minute. I got another meeting after this. This is Liz. Liz is Garfield's vet and John's girlfriend. Oh, Garfield, there's a cat treat in my purse for you. What? I can't hear you. So he obviously had snuffed out the cat treat and found it before she got there. Doesn't tell you these things, you just know them. Okay, my computer is moving really slow now. See, let me go that one. Okay, what's Garfield doing here? You have to just watch the pictures, right? He's measuring himself, weighing himself on the scale. he's thinking about it, and now he's going to stand on one leg and see if he can figure it out from that, or if he can make himself smaller. All right, so these are ironing, making inferences, thinking about things, figuring out parts of the story that are not actually spoken or written, but you figure it out by reading in between the lines, thinking about what you know and what you don't know. Watch the video. After you finish watching this video, make sure by Thursday you watch the other video that's on the YouTube channel, and that'll give you more information about inferencing. If you have any questions about the figurative language stuff, just make sure you make a note by it, and when we go over it on Thursday morning, you can ask me about it. Hopefully this helped a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share, and I will see you guys again on Thursday.